see a bit of a trend too with the same black women who are pushing to divest, to date out. I notice a lot of them also, they lower their standards for these men that they date out for, and not only if it's just culturally, even if it's race wise, especially for white boys, they get the goddamn trailer park white boy just because he white, and call him their man. But they go to some of these other countries or more impoverished countries, and it's like one that already can be seen as more attractive because they got a green card. You know what I'm saying? They can bring their ass back to the States. So do you think that some of these women are kind of taking advantage, like they're running from accountability, you know what I'm saying, and dealing with black men because, and running to other groups because they really just don't want to face the problems that they have that black men aren't accepting, black American men aren't accepting here?
Well, I think that's part of it. I think lack of accountability is part of it. But I think on the flip side of that too is not wanting to truly deal with oneself. When you deal with a black man, you have to deal with every part of yourself because y'all are reflections of each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so the runoff to me, for me, I never thought or could think of dating, a white man. I mean, Dad always told us to kill us if we bore home anybody white anyway.
Yeah.
But that was the furthest thing from my mind. I mean, to me, that was just common sense. I wasn't going to go to the slave master for anything. You understand? But I always tell any of my friends that are single that there are good black men out here. Point blank, period. Now if you go into the club thinking you're gonna find you a husband, you get what you get. It's easier to not be accountable, to try to make somebody else accountable, to say, well, black men are not doing this and black men are not doing that. But at the end of the day, what are you not doing? Because see, if you was working on yourself, maybe you have that black man that you want.
Yep. You act like you don't want.
So I mean, that's what I can say. Because the black women I know are married. Like I always say, my whole friends circle, my sister circle that I've been friends with for 20 plus years, we're all married.
Yeah, that's not no coincidence.
It's not a coincidence. You understand? All of us are married. All of us are happily married, should I say. And, we're all doing well. And there should be more sister circles just like this one. The other two, Cassandra and Shayla, are married to FBAs.
Oh, for real? Oh, okay, yeah. I knew that about Cassandra. I ain't know Shayla though. That's a blessing.
Yeah, they're married to FBAs. So good brothers out here.
Wow, half and half.
You just gotta. You are the question. I would say, if you say good brothers aren't out here, are you truly prepared as a woman, mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally, to handle a good brother? Because I believe if you were, you would have one. I think the other thing is black women have these lists. You gotta have this, you gotta have that. And I'm gonna tell you something. I had the same list in my head. You understand? Because I was watching Girlfriends and all of this crap too. So I had a list in my head too. But my husband not only checked off the list, but God is so funny, because he's like, oh, you think you got everything on the list, right? Well, I'm gonna show you what you didn't have on the list. And that's what he did with my husband, because he brought things in him that I didn't even have on the list, that I didn't even know I needed. And it wasn't even like things that came out in the beginning. These were things that came out over time. And I was like, oh, I didn't even know I needed that to feel secure and safe in a relationship. And you just taught me something about myself. You understand? Yeah. So you can't go into it thinking you know everything, because none of us know everything. You understand? The fact of the matter is that as you grow, you learn, and you become you become you become better if you allow the right person in, and you don't and you don't hold on to what you think, or what what you think he should look like, or what you think he should make, or what you think, all of these things. You don't hold on to all of those things, and kind of let some of those things go, and you just allow the right person to come. Because I'll tell you, I wasn't looking for a husband at that time, but I always tell my husband, God brought us together. Because in my mind, I had no intentions of finding my husband, or him finding me, but when God ordains it, when Allah is in it, is he in it. I think we have these check marks in our mind, and sometimes they are just ridiculous, because a lot of these women out here looking for Idris Alba, or looking for,
and that was your man for a minute.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, but at the end of the day, is it really about what he looked like? Is that what you marry? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That what you understand? And if you haven't learned by now that you can fix a brother up.
Yeah, now that's a fact though. Brothers start looking a little more attractive. They get a girl.
Can make, you know what I'm saying? You can make that brother, want to dress a little better, or fix them pimples on his face, and all. You understand what I'm saying? But you have to invest as well. You can't just go out here and think, because a brother, excuse me, looks a certain way or doesn't make a certain amount, that he doesn't, he won't qualify. That's just my personal experience. I think and I know there are good brothers out here. I meet them all the time.
A lot of women, Black women specifically, we kind of, again, we get now masculine. We start focusing on the college and the career education, things of that nature, getting money. And then we kind of tend to get this boost in ego, and start to damn near overvalue ourselves. We started thinking we on a high horse, because we got this education, and now I can't get with a brother that's making 40,000 or 50,000.
Well, I think to me, I think that's because, like I said, that's a white woman ideology, and I think that they're looking to them and they're saying, well, they're doing this, Susie's doing that, but your name ain't Susie, and
it's Keisha.
You know what I'm saying? And y'all, you and Susie's stories will never align.
Yeah.
So for me, when I was in college, I never, looked at the brother that was didn't have a college education and was like, oh no, my husband is not college educated. You understand?
Yeah.
So for me, it was never about, oh, you got to have these degrees, or, that wasn't it for me. It was about connection. It was about morals. It was about integrity. It was about respect. It was about somebody that I could bring around my family, that could be trusted and respected. And so for me, it wasn't, that didn't necessarily mean that you had to have a whole bunch of zeros behind your name, or you had to have a whole bunch of, letters, behind your name. That was just me. My dad doesn't have a college degree, but in my eyes, he's one of the smartest men I know.
Yeah.
And my grandfather didn't have a college degree, but again, one of the smartest men I ever met in my life. And so for me, that was my standard. Those were my standards. It wasn't about, oh, I have a college degree or I work at this place. That's nice. What else you bring to the table?
You know what? I want to ask you that too, though, because I would assume you primarily dated FBA men up until you met your husband. Do you think, or did you have any intentions to? And plus, she was very pro-Black. I don't even think I mentioned that. She was young. She was me times me when she was my age. She was me and the mirror put together.
I was very pro-Black.
Did you have that in your mind? Like, did you ever like set the intention of wanting to marry somebody that was FBA?
No, because my attention was always longer. You know, I only dated black men. You know, whether they was Jamaican or Haitian or, you know, African, he had to be black. You understand? Long as that melanin was popping, you know, we was good. You know what I'm saying? That's how I looked at it. You know, now majority of the guys I did date were FBA, of course. And I'm saying like I dated a lot of people. I didn't. But majority of the people I dated were FBA. It just so happened the connection happened with my husband. I didn't, you know, write it that way or plan it that way or anything. It was just the way it happened. You know?
Do you think your experience with Black American men may have shifted that a bit, even with not only just your partners, but even like dad, you know, our brothers, the other men in our family?
Well, when I dated, I will say this. No matter what a woman says, your experience with, for me, my father and my grandfather were my templates of what I dated. You know, and I say that because even my husband has qualities of my father and has qualities of my grandfather that, of course, attracted me to him. That made me more attracted to him because they were qualities that I appreciated in the men I loved that raised me. So, but as far as relationships, I always took the lessons from a relationship into the next relationship, but I didn't take, oh, he was this way, so the next one might be
the baggage.
You understand?
Yeah.
Because if I did that, then what's to say he won't be thinking the same thing? He could be thinking I'm like the last, you know, relationship he had. You understand what I'm saying? So I always try to just take the lessons and not the human being into the relationship.
We do not play, but I grin. You